the second segment of the Boston Marathon Massacre bombing special episode.
At the Bush Telegraph of the world, that's right. And we're actually going to mention a couple of things in relation to false flag operations or false flag attacks. And if you don't know what a false flag attack is, it's essentially where what I was talking about before, the problem, reaction, solution. There is a problem or a bombing, an injury, an event that has caused an outrage, and then the finger's pointed at a certain person or a group, and they are blamed instead of the people who really did it. So it takes your eye off the prize for a second and in the direction where they're pointing. They did it, they did it, they did it. So that's what a false flag is, and it usually has a follow-on effect.
Yeah.
Big follow-on effect.
I would personally define a false flag as an event caused by the powers that be to push through powers
Or promote their own agenda.
Promote their agenda and get them to a point that they've prefabricated and created, or turned a blind eye to.
Yeah. Well, that's happened with quite a few things in history. History will tell you about the Gulf of Tonkin incident, where and that was the cause of the Vietnam War occurring, and it said that 2 patrol boats got attacked and torpedoed by North Vietnamese, and it never happened, and so but officially that's what the public was told it did, and that was their foot into the door into Vietnam. That's just one false flag event. Mick, can you name me another one?
Yeah, sure. Look, there was many false flag events during the Second World War. The one that I can name would be probably the starting of Hitler's takeover in Germany and his burning of the Reichstag.
Reichstag
And
building.
blaming it on the communists, and I think it was the Jews. But I think it was mainly the communists. But I remember there was plenty of stories of ships being told not to travel into certain areas of, the sea, and
the sinking of the Lithuania.
Lithuania is the one I'm thinking of.
Or
yeah,
Lithuania. Yeah, it was basically in the 1900s. That was America's entry into the First World War.
That's right. They sent in a ship basically to waters that were announced to be dangerous.
In all the British newspapers and American newspapers, the Germans put out a warning saying, any ships in this area, we are going to sink. And the American government said, no, it's all right. This ship will be fine. And it resulted in hundreds of lives lost. And Americans were outraged, and therefore they entered the war, despite the fact that they were selling arms to both sides.
Was that the First World War?
Both wars, Mick. Both wars.
The Lithuania incident.
Lithuania was the first one.
That's right.
First World War. And then there was Pearl Harbor. They knew that was about to happen, but they did nothing about it. Congress didn't want to go to war.
Right, we're getting way off topic here.
No, it's another false flag, Mick. Can you name me a false flag here in Australia?
No, I can't, Jay.
All right. Well, false flag here in Australia that resulted in the handing in of firearms was the Port Arthur massacre. And Martin Bryant, an intellectually disabled man with an IQ of 66 and a motoring ability of a 14-year-old, supposedly gunned down over 30 people, 35 it was, and the kill-to-wound ratio was very high, so there was more people killed and more people wounded, and the shooter scene was right-handed, and Martin Bryant is left-handed. I think he's nothing but a fall guy. Really.
Yeah.
And he survived it.
It's a scary thing, the false flag events.
Oh, very scary. Very scary. But that's what they're designed to do, Mick.
Yeah.
Instill fear.
That's right.
So you what? You hand over your rights. Yeah. You say, no, I want to be safer.
Oh, of course, I want to be guarded by the almighty government.
Well, that's what the government...
protected.
So the government says, it's all right, we'll look after you, but you got to hand over your rights. Your civil freedoms and liberties.
If you want to be fed, you can't feed yourself.
Well, that's why they don't want to teach a man to fish. They'd rather hand him out fish in welfare and dole payments rather than teach him to be self-sufficient and educate him.
Mm.
Anyway,
Mm.
that's
Definitely education is definitely education and jobs within Australia. I think would be a great topic for another show.
I agree. There's
Yeah.
so much to talk about that.
Indeed. All
Well,
right. So
so
false flags.
yeah, we've spoken about false flags. So I think that this could be very likely that the Boston Marathon bombing was a false flag event.
So what would you say was trying to be accomplished? If this is a false flag and there's an agenda behind it, what would be the agenda?
Well, I think the agenda would be to A, make everyone fearful of another attack, B, to hand over people's rights and civil liberties within the town of Boston, C, more increased police presence, increased checkpoints and National Guard, and all of them stopping and checking. Please be patient. This is what. Let me find out. Governor Patrick, in one of the news conferences straight afterwards, implied that there would be more checkpoints, more law enforcement present, random checks on the street in bags and stuff like that, and he said to be patient for public safety. So hand over your rights, Mick, if you want to be safe.
Yeah, fair enough.
So there's always a patsy, and we're just trying to figure out. Well, the FBI is trying to figure out who the patsy could be for this event.
Yeah, so we've got some interesting photos.
Yeah, we've got some interesting photos. We're not really sure.
Let's have a look.
Not really sure what to make of a lot of these. A lot of people have been doing their own detective work on the internet, looking at photos and film that have been in the public domain for the last 3 days. And there's this first photo. It shows two gentlemen, one with a white hat and a black bag, and another guy standing there with a bag at his side in a blue shirt, a blue top, and he looks sort of Middle Eastern appearance. Now that could be sensitive to say that, but that's sort of how he looks. And I'm not assuming that these guys are the bombers. There's no assumptions. We don't know. There's no identification of any bombers, but all I'm saying is there's been a lot of people doing their own research on the internet with footage taken during the marathon.
Yes, yeah. I don't think this image that we're showing here is very convincing.
No,
I mean, people say the little attachments at the side of the
that's
backpack
rubbish.
are, bullets and shards.
No, it's not. It's a drink
bottle, some cigarettes, some papers.
Yeah, it looks like a tobacco tin or something he's got there.
All right, so but that guy with the Pepsi can there.
Oh, he's a terror suspect right there.
He looks like a bit of a menace.
on the bottom left. Yeah,
bit of a menace. All right, let's go to the next picture. That's been debunked. That one.
Yep.
All right, now we have this, as Jacob called him, educated teacher.
He looks like a teacher. He looks clean. He's casually dressed, but he's got clean cut and his beard is trimmed. But the media's labelled him as a dishevelled man.
I would say he's a Russian terrorist.
Huh.
That's what he looks like.
I don't think so. I don't think so. So look
at that shirt.
So
look at that shirt.
So he's carrying.
Who wears that red shirt under that jacket?
Oh, look, Russians maybe. No, I don't think so. Look, he's holding a bag in his right hand here.
Well, that's right.
Now, why was he holding a bag in his right hand? Think about it. Right, if you're in a crowd where there's like 200,000 people around, do you think there's pickpockets?
But yeah.
Well, why? If you've got your bag on your back, there's very subtle
and you wouldn't
people.
want to pickpocket to find the bomb that you've got in your backpack, would you?
Well, no, that's true.
Even more so.
Or maybe he needs it because he's got his lunch there and he's waiting to have it. I don't know. But I don't think this guy looks that suspicious, really.
Look, as we were talking before, this is the guy that I think, purely because of the little strap illustration on the side there, this is the guy that I think did it. This is the patsy. Would you like to just say a little bit about this one, Joe?
All right. This one here, Mick showed me this afternoon, and straight away I said, oh, those guys are military. Look at them. Look at them. They're military. Okay, so let's start from the bottom. They're both wearing the same style shoes. They're both wearing the same style khaki pants. They both got black jackets on. They're actually both on the phone at the moment. One of them's got ID slung over the guy with the cap on, and they both got black bags. And if you have a look at the cap, that is a skull on there, which is also it's the Punisher symbol from the Navy SEALs insignia. So here we go, Navy SEALs on scene. What are they doing there? They don't look really off duty, do they?
It's quite possible they were there for the bomb drill.
Possibly. But Navy SEALs, hang on a sec. I didn't think that America's army could actually operate within America. Isn't that the FBI's job or the National Guard?
Well, I think something interesting to mention is the Navy SEAL being pulled out of the marathon, being advised that he was dehydrated.
Was it a Navy SEAL or just there was a whole bunch of Army guys that were competing?
Was it a bunch of them?
Yeah, it was a truckload.
Yeah?
It was a truckload of guys that were competing. I can't clarify that there was guys pulled out of the marathon, but that's the reports that I've read. Hey, look.
Yeah,
excuse me.
I've definitely come across
you
that.
look dehydrated. Right, quick, you're out of the race. Hang on, sir. Look, I've been training for this for 6 months. And no, right, you look dehydrated. That's an order. You're out of here. And then, bang. Who knows? These are just things. This is a discussion. I'm not pointing fingers here. This is just a discussion, isn't it, Mick?
Yeah, I suppose time will tell. Or will it?